Good morning. I hope you are having a bright and blessed day. I'm Elizabeth. I follow a Bright Line eating plan, but I am not endorsed by Bright Line Eating. I follow their bright lines. No flour, so that means no almond flour, rice flour, gluten-free flour, regular flour. No sugar or sweeteners, no honey, maple syrup, stevia, all those. I weigh and measure my food, and I eat 3 times a day, no snacking. And it has been very successful. So today I said I would talk about non-scale victories. Because sometimes we think, oh, the scale isn't moving or it's not moving fast enough. So here are some things that are personal to me that are my non-scale victories. So first of all, my skin is better. I had a lot of skin tags and bumps and stuff around my neck, and they definitely have gone down. My body measurements. So the last time I measured was March 7th, so I'm coming up in just over a week to do my measurements again. So on March 7th, I had lost 2.5 inches around my bust, 2.5 inches around my waist, and 1.5 inches at my hips. And I try and, measure the widest part of my hips, bust, and narrow part of my waist. All right. And even if I haven't measured myself, I can tell. So my jeans, first of all, my first thing I noticed was that my jeans were a little tight to begin with. And when I put them on, and I'm sure people can relate to this, I would bend over and try and stretch them a little bit and so I could do them up. All right. At least I wasn't laying on the bed to do it, which has been done in the past. But now when I put them on and I'm wearing them, I'm actually hitching them up. And probably quite soon I'll actually have to have a belt to hold them up. So that's exciting. And I also put on one of my smaller t-shirts and it fitted pretty nicely. So I liked that too. I have more energy. I can bend at my waist better than I did. So, when I'm going to the floor and my knees are a lot better. They're not where I'd like them to be. But before I started this journey, if I bent my knees, I felt like I had a big lump at the back of them. That has gone. So now, I'm arthritic, but they are definitely better than they were. So, when I kneel to do some weeding, it was a little easier to kneel, and when I'm cleaning the floor, it's a little easier to get down, and that kind of thing. One of the big things, though, is that I was suffering a lot from like acid reflux or heartburn, that kind of thing, at night. And I would drool like something badly, I'm a teacher, and one of my favourite books is Genevieve Jones, and she was told that the drool on her pillow was from the monster under the bed, right, if you know the story. Well, I must have had a whole herd of monsters under the bed. Anyway, that stopped like the next day. I mean, I don't know. It was just so quick. I haven't had that problem at all on this plan. So if you suffer from GERD, or think you might, like I was thinking I might, this is a great plan to try because, yes, it was a whole lot better. And then the other non-scale victory, which I tell you over and over again is like a miracle, is that I'm not hungry between meals. I drink lots of liquid. I have my tea here that I drink and water with lemon in. And that's about it. Well, is it? That's all I drink. Every now and then I'll have a cup of Tetley with a dash of milk in, but not very often. Alright, so today I thought I would show you, I make a beef and cabbage skillet. So I thought I would show you how I do that and what is in that. So for bright line eating, we measure our food and weigh it after we cook it or how we're going to eat it. So I'm not going to weigh anything until after I've cooked it today. But I have already chopped up my cabbage. I did chop it by hand. I didn't think you'd want to see me chopping cabbage, but you could also do that in a food processor. All right, I have about a pound of ground beef, chopped onions. Now this is a bag I had in the freezer, but what I am doing now, and let me just get them to show you. I bought a bag of onions and I chopped each onion up and I put them in a bag and then I double bagged it so it doesn't smell. So that's one of the things I do with regular onions. So when I'm done with this bag of frozen onions, I'm going back to my own chopped onions. I also have, what did I do? Oh, they're over here. I also have garlic in water, ginger paste, because I tell you what, I am not successful with having fresh ginger root in the freezer. I know a lot of people do it, but I just find that it dries out too quickly for me, for my liking. And then I don't think I'm being a real good steward of that, so I just buy the paste. And also liquid aminos. We use this or tamari instead of soy sauce. All right, so let me see if I can rearrange this camera so you can see what I'm doing on the stove. So I am using my cast iron skillet, and I'm going to put that on pretty high, and then I'm going to brown my meat, which is approximately 1 pound. Okay, so we're going to put that on high and let that brown. After my meat's brown, I'm going to separate it and put it in a dish because I will need to weigh and measure it before I add cabbage to it. But instead of using olive oil or anything, I'm going to use the fat from the meat to help me and the moisture from the onions to help me. So I'm going to put the onions in first. And just stir them around a little. And that helps get that flavor of the meat off the bottom of the skillet too. Alright, so just let them, give them a minute. Then I think I'm going to add my seasonings now so that they get into the cabbage better. So I'm going to use a good teaspoon or two of garlic. Like, as you can see, I don't measure, I'm just putting it in. A good squirt of the ginger paste. But I'll add the aminos later. So I'm going to have that go just for a little while. When I was doing keto, this is a variation, I guess you could say, of the crack slaw, or it's called Asian cabbage something. But of course I'm not putting in any of the cheeses or the creams or whatever the keto one does. So it's a lot more basic than that. So that's good. I can smell the ginger there. So now I'm going to start putting in the cabbage. I have a lot of cabbage here. I might not be able to cook it all in one go. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to add the cabbage. I I used my largest cast iron skillet because of course the cabbage does cook down. But we'll see. That's probably about half a cabbage right there. So we'll see how that goes. And I'll get back to you when that is browned. While that cabbage is cooking, what I'm going to do, I'm going to weigh my bowl so that when I've added the cabbage to it, I'll know how much the cabbage weighs. So I'm using my OXO scale. Let's see, hold on. Oops, wrong way. Sorry, that's not very good. I'm using my OXO scale with a pull-out reading here. Whoops. So I'll make sure it says 0 and put the bowl on. And my bowl weighs 3 pounds, 6.4 ounces. So when I add my cabbage, I will know that. All right. My cabbage is going here, so I'll just keep going with that and get back to you. I am going to add a little water to this. Normally I would add some of my homemade chicken stock, but I did not get it out. And it's desperate for some moisture here. So I'm just going to add a little bit there. I'm going to turn it down. Smells so good. And I'm just going to let that steam for a couple of minutes on low. Where did I take my fingers away? There we go. I have an induction cooktop, which I love, by the way. Alright. Okay, so that's been steaming, not for long, a couple of minutes today. And I'm going to add my coconut aminos. I just like to add it. And I'm going to just stir that in, and then I'm going to start weighing this. I like to make a mess when I cook. So I do have this other half here, but before I cook that, I'm going to see how much cabbage I have. The reason being, I think a pound approximately of ground beef is going to give me 3 4-ounce servings because it lightens up when you cook, so I don't think it's going to give me 4 full servings of meat. So what I could do, I could make it 4 servings and add black beans to it to make it up. But what I'm doing, I'm making a spaghetti sauce for my husband for later tonight. So I'm just going to add the meat to his, probably. So I'm going to zero out my scale. And see how much this cabbage weighs. So I want 48 ounces. No, I want 30 ounces. Excuse me. I want 30 ounces, which is £1.10, I believe. The pound is 16. No. Okay, £1.14. I don't know. 30 ounces. £1.14. So I'm on £1. Nine. So I don't think for this recipe I will need my other cabbage. We are getting close. Oop. I think that's it. It went to error. There we go. £1.14. Because the scales limit is £5. So there we have it. I am going to leave that back there. Alright, so now I have my 30 ounces of cabbage. I need to also weigh out my meat, but I'm going to get my containers and show you how I measure it out. Well, the containers I wanted to use are have other things in them, so I have a mishmash of different containers here. So my first one I'm going to zero out. So I need 4 ounces. I'm sorry, I realised the fan was on. So I need 4 ounces of beef. Go, and 10 ounces of cabbage. And I'm just going to put that in there. 8, 6, 8, 9, see, 10. All right, so that would be 1, and I can stir it together like that. And that is a meal right there. I could add other condiments to it. I could add avocado to it. I'm just loving those little avocado cups. Let me show you. There you go. That's a 2 ounce serving of fat right there. So I'm going to continue measuring out my 3 meals here for lunches or dinners this rest of this week. Yeah, next week might be my day today. I'm excited. I am, believe it or not, I'm looking forward to standing on that scale. Who knew? I'm measuring myself too, because I'm pretty sure my waist is a little slimmer. So we'll see. Have a bright and blessed day. I'll see you next week.